Everybody good? Okay, this is for District 27, just to remind everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Sarah Sewell, and I'm the president of the Noble Public Schools Foundation and a parent of children attending Noble Public Schools. Thank you to everyone joining us tonight and those watching online. On behalf of the Noble Public Schools Foundation Board of Directors, we are honored to join our neighbors from the Noble Public Library in hosting this important event for our community. And if those representatives will please stand from the Noble Public Library. Thank you for being here. Tonight's primary election forum is our 10th election forum to host, and we continue to remain committed to ensuring every voter in our community has as much information as possible to make informed voting decisions in our local and state elections. The mission of the Noble Public Schools Foundation is to empower educators and enrich student learning by partnering with our community to provide vital education resources while maintaining the highest standards of financial stewardship and transparency. Our vision is that every student will have ample access to the tools and opportunities they need while in pursuit of their dreams. This past school year, we gave over $37,000 in classroom grants and $23,000 in scholarships to our graduating seniors. Before we kick off tonight's forum, I would like to share some information on another important upcoming vote. On August 25th, our community will vote on a school bond proposal that has been 5 years in the making and shaped by more than 680 responses from parents, staff, and neighbors like you. Our community is growing at a rapid pace, and our current campuses are bursting at the seams. If passed, this bond will include a new 5th and 6th grade school, classroom additions, a new fine arts center, and a district-wide safety upgrades. 87% of the bond is dedicated to academics, and every Noble Public School campus will benefit. The best part is the bond is designed to keep your property tax rate at or below its current level with no tax increase to you. Please make plans to vote again on August 25th. And now I am honored to introduce tonight's moderator, Noble alumnus, community leader, and House District constituent, Randy Kersey.
Thank you, and welcome everybody for the House District 27 Forum. Again, my name is Randy Kersey. I'm a lifelong resident of Noble, except for maybe a couple of years here and there, but grew up here, graduated here in 1980, and more commonly known as Mrs. or Mr. Susan Kersey, who's the retired librarian from KID. So more people know me as that anymore than anything else. So we are want to introduce our candidates this evening. The incumbent Representative Danny Sterling, Republican from Tecumseh, and challenger Roberta Lewis, the challenger from Macomb. Before we get started on the questions, we have one Democrat challenger, Memory Taylor from Moore, Oklahoma. Memory will not be participating in the question answering because she is not in the primary that's coming up, but hopefully you can come back when we do this again in the fall. So with that, I want to go ahead and give Memory a couple of minutes here to introduce herself. So Memory Taylor.
Hi, like he said, my name is Memory Taylor. I will keep it brief because I think if you'd like to, you can stop and talk to me out at the table. I'll stay as long as anybody wants to talk, but I know my fellow candidates and the incumbent would like to probably get going. So just a few brief things that got me into this is number one, first and foremost, was education. Not just public school education, but also education for children 0 to 3, and then based in child care. And I've seen a lot of what Oklahoma is happening to our education is starting to filter into child care as well, and it's those 0 to 3 years are super important for our kids entering into pre-K and kindergarten and moving on. So the education really is my biggest driver. My other ones are healthcare and just the general affordability. I think we could all talk about insurance and utilities hikes, and those are most of my things. Thank you. I'm just a person, so sorry about all my ums and all of that stuff. But I appreciate your time and look forward to talking to anybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Oh. Okay, thank you. So House District 27 serves the communities of Noble, east of 48th Street, Little Axe, Tecumseh, Macomb, Earlsboro, and East Moore. Again, the Republicans are the only candidates that will be in the upcoming June 16th primary ballot. Here's how the question portion of tonight's event will flow. Each of you will have 2 minutes to introduce yourselves to our audience and online viewers. Following the introductions, we will go into the question period of the evening. Questions have been submitted by community members during an open submission period. I will ask a question to the candidates, and each will have 1 minute to respond accordingly. We will alternate who goes first. Each response will be timed, and you will be given a 15-second warning from the front row, 30-second warning from the front row. And following the question portion, you will each have 1 minute for closing remarks at the conclusion of tonight. This is a forum, not a debate, so in order to touch as many topics as possible, rebuttal time is not included this evening. We ask that you answer the questions based on your own ideas and merits, and that you remain professional to one another during our time together. It's imperative that we keep the forum focused on the issues and refrain from any personal attacks, which I don't expect that we'll have that problem this evening. After all, this isn't TV ads. So, okay, so let's get started. First question, Ms. Lewis will answer first. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Introductions. So, Mr. Serling, would you go first?
Am I on? Okay. Thank you. First of all, I'm very happy to hear that you have the opportunity to pass a bond issue, because I know being an alumni from here, it was several years ago with the rapid growth Noble had, that a bond issue was very, very important and was passed. Can't remember the number, but hopefully good luck on that. Anyway, it's good to be back here in Noble. As I say, I'm a alumni of Noble High School, graduated here several years ago. I will say I played in the first football game ever played on that football field, so I am dating myself now. Grew up on a dairy farm just 1 mile east of here. So I'm very familiar with this area and very proud to represent Noble. I've been in office for 8 years now. I'm very happy with the accomplishments that I've made with various bills, various legislation. Some of those that we voted on were very tough, and we have to go back and look at those. If there's changes, we do have the opportunity to do that, and that's what I want to do. I'm staying true to what I campaigned on 8 years ago, which was education, supporting public safety, economic development. I've been recognized for that recently, for doing as much as I can for Oklahoma on economic development. And also, one of the things I really take great pride in is assisting my constituents. You know, legislation, that's great, crafting legislation, different bills that we vote on at the Capitol, but that is a very broad spectrum arena that when we do that. The thing I really enjoy is that one-on-one contact with those constituents. I've had 3 just this week and 1 today that I've been helping with. So I am still on the job regardless if I'm running for this position. So that's the thing I enjoy the most and look forward to continue to doing with your vote to put me back at the Capitol. Thank you.
Ms. Lewis?
Can you hear me? I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Roberta Lewis. I'm running for, of course, House District 27. I'm a mother of 3 children, a wife, an Army veteran. And 4 years ago, my family went through a situation of gross government overreach, where my son was removed from me and held for 14 days. And when all of the dust settled and everything was said and done, the people that overreached and came into my home illegally were never held accountable. Instead, they were protected. And so for the last 4.5 years, I've worked with legislators and organizations to help other families who have gone through the same tragedy as I have. We've worked on getting different legislation passed or stopping legislation that would hurt Oklahoma families. And going through this, I had numerous families across the state of Oklahoma reach out to me and ask for my help. And it's been an honor to help them for the last 4.5 years. So I'm running for office to potentially help more people in Oklahoma and protect families against government overreach so that no other family has to go through what mine had to go through. Education, government overreach, the turnpike, parental rights, those are the things that I'm passionate about. And those are the things that I've been working on for the last nearly 5 years. So I look forward to answering any questions that you guys have.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so our first question, Ms. Lewis, you'll go first. This year, the Oklahoma lawmakers increased the cap on the private school tax credit program, committing $275 million taxpayer dollars toward private education subsidies. Public schools are legally required to serve all students, and they have significantly more regulations and reporting requirements. Do you believe it is fiscally responsible to expand taxpayer-funded private school subsidies without the same level of accountability and required equal access as public schools? Why or why not? And what changes, if any, would you propose?
The short answer is no to that question. The second answer is I believe that all parents should have the right to decide which education is best for their children. But I think that if we're going to give public tax dollars to private schools, then we need to be watching that public tax money just the same as we would with public schools. And so therefore, it's no longer a private school if you're giving public money to that institution. So that's the concerns that I have there. I think that changes that I would make is that we need to be watching where that money is going, who's getting that money. And I think that the legislation was put into place to get the lowest income families that opportunity to put their children in private schools. And I would like to see that, make sure that that's where that money is actually going.
Okay. Representative Sterling?
Thank you for the question. That is one that has been a burr in my side for several years now. First of all, I'm working on legislation currently that might look at the top end of those people that are eligible for this parental tax credit. I think there's several of those people that certainly don't need the voucher, for lack of better words, and that's something I'm definitely looking at from a legislative standpoint. And another thing, you know, they say this is supposed to be for the rural areas, the people that maybe are the lower income folks. Well, if you look at the makeup of District 27, there's not a lot of opportunities to even utilize tax credits. But so the case may be, I think that we definitely need to remember that we have overwhelmingly seen data that says parents want to control where their children go to school. I'm all about that. I'm all about parental choice. But at the same time, we are constitutionally required, as was stated, to fund public education. We've got to do that. We've got to make sure that we
Okay. All right, next question, and Representative Sterling, you'll go first on this one. This last session, the third graders not meeting reading benchmarks now must be retained, according to the legislature. The Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs has reported nearly 75% of third graders would have been forced to repeat third grade had that been in effect last year. So the question is, if the state is going to require retention for struggling readers, what specific investments or policy solutions do you support to ensure schools actually have the personnel, the resources, and the support systems necessary to help those students actually succeed?
Okay, that's a lot. Well, first of all, we did infuse money in the Strong Readers Act, and we're going to hopefully carry that forward. I know we did this in 2016. It was in place at that point in time, but because of actions by the governor, it didn't take place and move forward. But the thing about it, with that taking place, we all hear about the Mississippi Miracle, but you got to have the infrastructure in place for this to be beneficial. We got to have literacy coaches. We got to have a right ratio of literacy coaches to the teachers, and we've got to make sure that they are doing the job, and we got to hold them accountable. There's one thing we got to remember: before students can learn to read to learn, they must learn to read first, and that's what this whole mission is about. Is because the foundation is important at these lower grades, or they will struggle the rest of their time in school. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Lewis?
I think that change is difficult on anybody, but we have to start somewhere. So if we say that we need to remediate a large number of third graders, then let's start with our third graders. But what happens with our fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and so on graders that are so far behind also? And so we got to start somewhere. We got to stop the bleeding somewhere. But getting back to phonics and the legislation that was passed this last year, I think is a really good start to that. I think that we need to take the other distractions out of the classroom and give our teachers the tools that they need to be successful in the classroom.
Okay. So next question, Ms. Lewis, you will go first. Even with recent investments in teacher pay and public school funding, Oklahoma still trails neighboring states in teacher compensation and per pupil funding. Oklahoma schools continue facing major teacher retention challenges. So what do you believe lawmakers still may be getting wrong about why teachers are leaving the profession? And would you support automatically adjusting teacher pay and per pupil funding each year based on inflation so schools are not effectively falling behind over time? Why or why not?
From talking to, I love our teachers, and I substitute at Macomb often. And so from talking to our educators, what I can tell you is I haven't had one educator tell me that they're leaving the profession because of pay. I think that if you go into the profession of teaching, you do it because you have a heart to do it. And most of our teachers would do it for very little money. That's not fair. These guys are boots on the ground. They're in the classroom every single day, and they need to feel like they're heard. They need to be supported when they go to administration with a problem. What I'm hearing is they don't feel like they're being heard. And so I would supporting our teachers with what they need in order to get the job done so that we are putting out top quality students into the workforce.
Okay. Representative Sterling?
Thank you for the questions. Most important thing as far as teacher morale and effective teachers as a whole, we talked about we still having obstacles there, is it's who is in front of those students in that classroom. That is going to affect outcomes more than anything else. I don't care what kind of new programs we have, whatever it is, it is who is in front of those students, teaching those students in the classroom. Support by the school, talk about teachers not leaving, what's the reason for leaving. The classroom, a lot of it, they got to have support by that site principal. So that's very important as well. You know, we've had funding, we're trying to catch up. We had a backlog of funding that's been we're trying to refill that from the past when we didn't fund teachers as well as we should have, education in general. That's one reason we got the $2,000 pay raise for teachers this year and $232 million invested in education as a whole. But a lot of work to be done, more than I can even talk about in 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and this question would be for you, Representative Sterling, first. While public school districts continue facing measurable challenges like literacy rates, chronic absenteeism, special education staffing shortages, student behavior issues, and teacher retention, Oklahoma's education debate have increasingly centered around classroom content, library books, curriculum oversight, and parental rights. At the same time, educators across the state increasingly report feeling politically targeted and publicly distrusted and fearful of backlash over ordinary classroom decisions. All this contributes to burnout and making teacher recruitment more difficult. In your opinion, at what point does political activism, divisive rhetoric around public schools begin distracting from the core academic and staffing challenges that are actually impacting students and the outcomes in Oklahoma?
Sorry. Thank you for that question. Absolutely, it's a distraction, especially the most recent comments made by one of the gubernatorial candidates calling superintendents across our schools social radical terrorists. I believe that was the name or term, not totally positive on that. But those type of things weigh on teachers. They're trying to do a good job of teaching our students, and they're having to listen to that kind of junk is ridiculous. So we need, and that's something I've worked on since I've been up there, to be supportive of our teachers and do what we can for them. Actually, myself and some of the other legislators are labeled educrats at the Capitol. It's supposed to be a jab at us, but I wear that with pride because I'm there trying to take care of those teachers and do what I can, and I'll continue to do so if I'm reelected to this position.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
I think this is an important time to remind everybody that our school districts were designed in Oklahoma across all of the U.S. to be ran from the local level. And so whenever the state starts making policy that affects the entire every school in the state, a lot of times those policies look a lot different for rural Oklahoma, and most importantly, District 27. And so one of the things that I would do is encourage parental participation within the local school district. And then also we have to make sure that, like I said before, that our teachers are supported, that we're supporting them, that they know that that somebody has their back, that if they're doing the right thing, that there's going to be somebody there standing behind them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Lewis, you're first this time. This legislative session, Oklahoma leaders supported efforts to reduce property taxes without clearly identifying how local communities would replace that lost revenue. If property tax revenues are slowed or eliminated, what specific local government services do you believe should receive less funding? What funding source should possibly replace the lost revenue? And what evidence leads you to believe that this funding approach will leave communities better off?
Oh man, I don't know if I can answer that all in 1 minute. We have to remember that with those property taxes, we're paying our our sheriff's department, we're paying our health department, we're paying our schools, we're paying everything that goes to the county with that money. And so we got to have somewhere to replace it. And I honestly believe there's a lot coming from, spending 10 years in the Army. I know that there's a considerable amount of fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. I've seen it personally. I think that we need to start looking at where we can save money, where we can cut back. Are we top heavy? Are we an upside down triangle in our county budgets? And then definitely if we're going to cut property taxes, let's start doing it at maybe the senior citizens, we start with them and then start rolling back more and more as we go. But we have to have a way to replace that revenue because very important services depend on that.
Okay. Representative Sterling?
Yeah, thank you. The part about what local organizations are essential or maybe some that could be cut, I don't think there's really any that comes to my mind that could bear being cut, because the people that would ultimately suffer in that case would be our constituents, our citizens. So I think that's a no-go in that situation. And I know that our schools, so forth, all count on this, but also we have a lot of people that are property owners that I'm hearing that are suffering from rapid increases depending on which part of the state you're talking about, which part of the community, et cetera. So that's one of the reasons that we're looking at looking at the possibility of cutting ag areas, ag property tax, from 3 to 1.75, I believe, and also just general property tax from 5 to 4. So looking at all possibilities, but again, there's got those that are wanting to just eliminate them with no recourse for how that would be supplemented. That's ridiculous, and like I say, we've got to have a plan.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sterling, question number 6 here. The proposed turnpike expansion through the Norman, Noble, and Newcastle areas has deeply divided many communities. Supporters argue the project necessary to address long-term growth, congestion, and infrastructure needs, while opponents are raising concerns about eminent domain, transparency, private property rights, and the impact of families who could lose homes, farmland, or generational property. The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority maintains broad eminent domain powers for projects deemed to serve a public purpose. Where do you draw the line between public necessity and government overreach in using eminent domain for infrastructure projects?
Currently, we're working on legislation at the Capitol and it's ongoing. It will be, regardless who's up there next year, we'll be working in that particular area on eminent domain. But we are trying to address the different ways that eminent domain is applied in these property acquisitions. One of those, first of all, on turnpikes in general, we've got to move cars. We know that. Does it have to be a turnpike? Why can't it be a free road? Why are we not letting more of the people that are directly affected have more input on the path of that turnpike, et cetera? I mean, my personal story, I just said I was born and raised out here 1 mile east. That's going to take that property, the New South Extension, in the proposal. So, again, I think we've got to look at each individual situation and decide whether it needs to be a turnpike or a free road, and decide if that's the most correct path to move these vehicles that do need to be moved in a large volume.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis? Same question?
I think that we need to start putting a lot of responsibility back to the citizens, in that, when they have these town halls, a lot of times they're not well attended. Citizens have to be involved. And our government, we need to be making sure that our citizens are involved in that process, that they get time to voice their concerns, that they get to be a part of that process. And I'm all for free roads. Maybe we don't need a turnpike. Maybe we just need to widen a road, or pave a few roads or something like that. And so a lot of people, they don't want to sell their property that's been in the family for generations and generations and generations. And I don't necessarily think that we should be forcing anybody to do something with their property that they own that they don't want to do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Lewis, you're first this time. In 2020, Oklahoma voters approved Medicaid expansion through State Question 802, placing it in the state constitution. This year, lawmakers proposed measures that could allow future legislative changes to the program if federal funding levels shift. If financial conditions change, how much authority should lawmakers have to alter Oklahoma's voter-approved Medicare expansion, and what specific fiscal benchmarks would justify overriding the will of the voters?
I think that people need to understand how much money we spend on Medicaid in the state of Oklahoma. It's our second largest budget item. We spend billions of dollars on that, and we're only paying a small portion of that. The federal government comes in and pays the larger portion of that, and then Oklahoma comes in and pays the second portion of that. And so the voters voted on this. It was put into the Constitution, and in order to change it, I think we need to go back to the voters, but you have to ask yourself, who's going to pay for it? When the government decides that they're going to cut back, then who's going to pay for it? Because we're going to have a lot more to be talking about other than property taxes when everybody else's taxes go up, because the money has to come from somewhere.
Okay. Representative?
That button. First of all, the proposed Medicaid expansion would be no changes, just moving it from the Constitution where it is now to administer more efficiently by the legislature. And by the way, if they don't do it the way that voters think they should, then they got the ballot box to vote them out of there. But give them that opportunity, I think, is where the genesis of that idea came from. Right now, we're on a 90-10 match, means 90% of the government, or the federal government funds it, and we only cover 10%. We've been warned for 8 years that is going to change, that trigger is going to change. So the thing that I think we really need to look at is the earning. Well, the earning is up to 130%, 3% of the federal poverty level, but we still need to look at the expansion group, make sure there's a lot of fraud there. It's unbelievable how much fraud there. But the people such as single mothers, homeless, that won't change. They will still be covered. So again, we're just trying to bring this in before federal government slams it on us with a less than 90. Therefore, we'll have to pick up the slack.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sterling, community involvement and accessibility are important expectations for Noble residents. During a time of political division and distrust across our state and our nation, many residents want elected officials who are visible, approachable, willing to listen, and able to work constructively with people of differing viewpoints. If elected, what specific steps would you take to maintain a consistent presence in Noble and build strong relationships across the entire community, including business owners, educators, local organizations, and constituents of different political perspectives?
I'm doing that right now as we speak. Well, not literally as we speak, but I've talked with an individual coming on the way over here about an issue. Just talked to an individual out front about the turnpike, how they're going to be affected. So yes, I've been doing that. I've been doing it especially the last 4 or 5 years. I will continue to do that. I am very visible out in the community, different events. I have articles always in the paper. So again, I'm from this area, so I'm very familiar with it. I take, as I said in my beginning, I take very high level of pride in helping constituents and their issues. And I do not ask them what party affiliation they're with when they reach out to me. Half the time I don't even know, because I was elected to represent all constituents, whether we agree politically or not, and that's what I'll continue to do, and I take great pride in that.
Thank you.
In Pottawatomie County, I'm very active in the community there. When I decided to run for House District 27, it also came into Cleveland County. And so for the last 9 months or so, I've been getting to know Cleveland County, Noble, Norman, Lexington. I've been lost down some of those back roads a few times. But my goal is to get to know as many people here in Noble as I do in Pottawatomie County, that everywhere I go, the people of Noble and Cleveland County will be able to talk to me the same as they do in Pottawatomie County. And so for me, it's, if we have, usually the Democrats and the Republicans, we all have the same problem. It's just finding the solution looks a little bit different on both sides. And so if there's a problem, I look forward to fixing it, however that needs to be done.
So, Ms. Lewis, Oklahoma has one of the highest incarceration rates in the United States and ranks near bottom in many educational outcomes. Does Oklahoma treat poor educational outcomes and high incarceration rates as separate issues in your mind?
I think in Oklahoma, everybody's a statistic for whatever reason. We like to group people in statistics. And I think that certainly a lower education can certainly have an impact on incarceration rate. But I just want to point out that I was a mother at 17 years old, so statistically my child should be sitting in jail right now, and I should be a dropout and all of the things. And I think that making sure that our young people or people that may not have the support that they need, that we're supporting them, that we're trying to push them forward, that we're giving them a hand up, and I think that everybody, you have a responsibility to yourself and to your community to help those around you and to help yourself, and you have to kind of take some responsibility for that. So I don't like statistics, and I don't like putting labels on anybody, but that's how I feel about that.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sterling?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to answer that question, because that's something that I've been involved with all my life. I'm a 40-year educator, as a teacher, principal. 2 of those years as a principal, I was the alternative education director at Tecumseh Schools. And absolutely, you see it up close and personal how important education is to those students that especially don't have a lot of opportunity and maybe are already at risk of not making it out, even graduating from high school. So the best way to keep, the research will show you, data will show you the best way to keep, most effective way to keep people out of prisons and jails and so forth has been having them educated at a high level. Excuse me, not a high level, but a proficient level. Simply because when they're educated, they understand what the opportunities are, and they're more equipped to have a good job and be a productive citizen in our society.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Representative Sterling, can you comment and share your views on the recent moves to change the Oklahoma Judicial Nomination Commission process for selecting appellate court judges, giving more power to the governor? I believe that's a state question that will be coming up this fall.
I'm very heavily involved in the judiciary part of my at my current position. I'm the chair of appropriations for judiciary, and that's something that I deal with quite a bit, especially with judges. They are always asking me for a pay raise. Imagine that. But anyway, we are very adamant about making sure that we have quality individuals that are in charge of our judicial system. There is a system. We did an interim study about the judicial nominating system, and to be honest with you, we feel like that if it's utilized correctly, it does work well the way it stands now, and I really do not feel like we need to make any changes at this point in time.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
I think this is an opportunity to explain to people how important your vote for governor is. So if right now your governor has the ability to appoint all of the department heads, anybody that maybe loses office, maybe just in Pottawatomie County, we have an appointed district attorney, if somebody leaves an office. So that election to governor, you're electing a lot more than just a head of a state. You're electing somebody who's going to appoint every department that has the ability to make your life miserable for the next 4 years. And so whenever you go to the ballot box and you look at the elections, make sure that that's who you want selecting those people.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is just a yes or no. Ms. Lewis first. If you're the winner of the June 16th Republican primary, do you agree to return in the fall to participate in our final election forum with Ms. Taylor?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sterling?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay. One final question. Current members of our legislature and state and county GOP officials have recently spoken publicly about their opposition to contraception, including Plan B, aka the morning after pill. Given that Oklahomans have expressed concern about their continued access to this form of health care, what is your position on preserving Oklahomans' access to hormonal contraception?
Well, I'm not totally, I need to probably research that to give a real accurate answer, but I do believe that, we need to allow the families to make those decisions as long as it's not affecting or in conflict with current statute, current law. So again, I am a pro-life candidate. I will continue to be that, but I also know there are extenuating circumstances that we also always have to look at.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
I'm not really sure either what you're speaking about, but I am as well a pro-life candidate. I think that we need to stop letting the government get involved in conversations that we have in private with our healthcare providers. That is a woman's health issue, and the government needs to stay out of that, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to our closing statements. Ms. Lewis, you'll go first. You'll have 1 minute for your closing statement.
We are 16, I think we're 16 after today, 15 days away from the primary election. And, I look forward to seeing what June 16 looks like. I have met some incredible people across all of House District 27, talked to so many and met so many, and I look forward to hearing from anybody. I will be here afterwards for as long as I need to be, and I hope that I've earned your vote and your support, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the election polls on June 16th.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sterling?
Well, I appreciate this opportunity to present to the people here and those that are online. I'm asking to be re-elected to continue what I'm doing now, what I've been doing for the past 8 years. I'm very, I don't apologize for any of my votes. Some of those I look at and I go back, maybe we might amend or tweak or make better, but I went with the information I had at that particular time when I make my votes, so, and I always stand by that. I'm currently on a path continuing what I originally ran for and what I said in my opening statement about protecting and helping and encouraging growth and efficiency in our public safety, our education system, our criminal justice, et cetera, all those things. And even the turnpike system is something that I do want to continue to listen to both sides on that, because it's a very much a very hot topic in this particular area. So I appreciate the opportunity, hope that I can count on your vote, and if you have more questions to get more intricate details on where I stand on a particular issue, let me know.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, that concludes our questions. Thank you to all our candidates for House District 27. Your willingness to serve our communities and our state is admirable, and we appreciate your leadership. Thank you to all of our citizens for attending tonight. Participation in informed voting is one of our most important civic responsibilities. Tonight's forum has been recorded, and will be available online for viewing in a few days. Please watch the Noble Public Schools Facebook page for that shareable link to be posted by Wednesday. Make plans today to go vote in your regular polling location on Tuesday, June 16th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can also vote early from 8 to 6 on Thursday, June 11th, Friday, June 12th, and from 8 o'clock till 2 on Saturday, June 13th at the following House District 27 locations: the Noble Library, Sooner Mall, and the Cleveland County Fairgrounds, or the Pottawatomie County Election Board. House District 27 and House District 45 candidates, or 27 candidates, will now be available in the foyer to visit with you one-on-one and share any campaign materials. And again, thank you for everyone for coming tonight. Encourage people to watch this online for those who couldn't be here. It's very important that we be informed as citizens. It's part of our duty as good citizens. I was reading a quote today by H.G. Wells in 1920 that said, "Human history becomes more and more a race between education and catastrophe." And catastrophe comes when people don't pay attention to what's going on. So thank you very much. Thank you, candidates, for being here, and thank you for joining us. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back for the final forum. Thank you.